Greetings, fellow to time and space. This is your host, TheAmariaShadow, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back once again to some more of Ace Attorney Investigations. Now, we're going to continue where we last left off in the last live stream. We are making it into the third portion of Episode 2, which should be the last portion of Episode 2 before we can actually start Episode 3 of Ace Attorney Investigations in Miles Edgeworth. So, without further ado, let's get started right away today's adventure and see what's in store for us. Allez! March 12th, 2:52 p.m., flight G390, lower deck cargo hold. Wow, so this is the cargo hold, huh? It's so big! This plane is a special model. It has both a super large cargo hold and an ultra luxurious first class seating. So is this the real scene of the murder? There is certainly a high probability of that, which is why we are here, correct? Okay, let's get investigating, sir. Okay, let's see here. Keeping track of this many pieces of cargo must be very taxing on the cargo crew. It sure brings back memories of when I worked as a part-time mover, sir. I look in his eyes, he's waiting for me to ask about the rest of the story. But no matter how he pours on the puppy eyes, I have no intention of doing so. Oh, no. Holy suitcases, Mr. Edgeworth! It's like an all-you-could-use suitcase fair! These must be all the leftover ones they couldn't sell. The ones the company is planning to dispose of after this flight is over. This paint job is really cool, don't you think? It practically screams artsy. Oh, why not purchase one then? I'm sure it will bring you much happiness. You think so? Then maybe I will. Let's see here. $1,200?! I think I'll pass. And Miss Tenero wonders why they don't sell. You need 2 jobs just to buy one. Although, it definitely looks like one is missing. What is this brittle substance I'm stepping on? It's a bunch of glass fragments? Where are these glass shards from? Hey, what's with the suitcase, pal? It's what the victim checked in, sir. So this suitcase belongs to Mr. Hicks. I don't think he'd mind if we took a closer look. There's nothing out of the ordinary in here, sir. Wait, a file? And there's a photo of Miss Von Karma in it, sir. It looks like a profile on Franziska. Why did Mr. Hicks have documents on Franziska in his possession? Why would Mr. Hicks have had a file on her? You arrived at the scene of the crime before Detective Gumshoe, correct? And you then immediately began to direct the investigation. It seems to me that you were already here at this airport for something besides this murder. Yes, I was. Why at this airport? I've been following a very large and involved governmental-level international crime, but it's much too large for one person to take on alone. So it was decided that I should form a joint investigation with Interpol. Interpol? Franziska came to this airport as an Interpol liaison. Interpol is involved? It's a top-secret operation, so I really can't tell you any more than I already have. Alright. Let's connect some logic here. We've got a couple of logic and fragments here. Now, let's see here. I'm guessing the glass shards are definitely from Mr. Hicks's glasses, which proves that he was definitely down in the cargo hold before he died. So, let's connect this with this. I think we can safely conclude that these fragments are from a pair of glasses. And the victim was wearing a pair of broken glasses. Exactly what I was thinking. I'm sure that the shards would match up perfectly with the remnants of his glasses lens. Ergo, the victim was here, just as I suspected. So you're saying that the real scene of the crime was here, sir? Isn't that what I've been saying for a while now? Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Perhaps it's a bit early to draw that conclusion. However, I believe that the probability has just skyrocketed considerably. All that's left is to find the murder weapon. Okay, why did Mr. Hicks have documents on Francisca in his possession? It only makes sense that he was an Interpol agent, right? I mean, that has to be it. Now, why would Mr. Hicks have documents profiling Francisca? Oh, I know. I bet he's a big fan of Miss Von Karma, sir. Francisca said that she had come to this airport as part of an Interpol investigation. Oh, maybe Mr. Hicks had heard she was coming here and he followed her. Detective, I think it's more likely that Mr. Hicks was in actuality Interpol agent Hicks. I think Francisca has some explaining to do. You came to this airport to rendezvous with the victim, didn't you? Nonsense! What are you talking about? We found a profile detailing information about you in the victim's luggage. I suppose it was prepared for him so that he could recognize you when he landed, which makes him not Mr. Hicks, but rather Interpol Agent Hicks. Isn't that correct? I should have known you'd figure it out, Miles. But it looks like they got to him first. So you really did come here to receive an Interpol agent then? Yes. Agent Hicks was on the trail of a very large international smuggling ring. Agent Hicks was on the trail of an international smuggling ring. He went undercover to investigate this crime, and it was I who put him on this case. I was supposed to receive a call from him on his cell phone once he had landed. I never expected to receive a call about his murder instead. I think we now have pretty definitive evidence that Agent Hicks came down here to the cargo hold. But what was he doing down here, sir? There's nothing but luggage! Oh, I get it. Maybe he forgot something in his suitcase and came down to get it. Ow! Agent Hicks came here for a work-related reason. Of that, I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure he was here to investigate the smuggling operation he was observing. Francisca, do you know exactly how he intended to pursue his investigation? No. Unfortunately, I was going to find out from him after he landed. I see. But this raises another question. A normal passenger can't access the cargo hold on their own. Agent Hicks must have identified himself to a member of the crew and entered the cargo hold with that person who let him in. Yes, and then he was murdered here. These glass fragments and his broken glasses are a testament to that. And then, the killer put Agent Hicks into one of the spare suitcases and they entered the elevator, but while they were riding it up, the plane hit that patch of turbulence. Because of the intense shaking, the suitcase popped open and Agent Hicks's body flew out. At the same time, his wallet fell out of his pocket, spilling its contents everywhere. Which explains why there was money scattered all over the elevator floor. I think it's pretty easy to say who the culprit is at this stage. What? Really, sir? I know what you're thinking, Miles Edgeworth, but the killer can be none other than Miss Rhoda Tenero. Definitive evidence. If it was a crew member, any one of them could have shown Agent Hicks to the cargo hold, but the point to keep in mind is the keycard that allows the elevator to come down here. The only person with such high-level access is Miss Rhoda Tenero. I say that's a pretty decisive piece of information, wouldn't you? No, because her key card got stolen by someone. I know what she's trying to say, but I'm not certain it's as simple as that. I am sorry for the yawning. It's like, today feels like a very lazy day. It's cloudy outside, feels like it's gonna rain. And it's like, it's just very slow feeling today, so... If it was a crew member, any one of them could have shown Agent Hicks to the cargo hold. Now, what caught my attention was this. Because again, the key card, according to Miss Tenero, was stolen, so we gotta keep that in mind. But the point to keep in mind is the key card that allows the elevator to come down here. Hold it! But it's highly likely that the keycard was stolen from Miss Tenero. It's highly likely? Is that possibility the best you could come up with? And you call yourself a disciple of my father. Yes, well, while I don't have any evidence, Be quiet! You're a disgrace! There's more evidence pointing to Miss Rhoda Tenero, you know. There's not just the keycard that gives her away. Are you talking about the murder weapon, the Captain Ugo piggy bank? Yes! She is also the only person with a key to open that display case. Further, there is the matter of the key to the display case that held the murderous bank. Okay. Hold it! New information?
Objection!
That is a fake. Stop right there, Miles Edgeworth. You don't have any proof that this is just a red herring. If you must keep on insisting that it's a fake, then what is the real murder weapon, and where did it go? Speechless, I see. That's not a surprise. After all, you know that we searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. There must be a way. There must be something that can help me rule out the piggy bank as the murder weapon. What should be examined further to help us ascertain the authenticity of the weapon? It should be the body, because I feel like if the piggy bank was the murder weapon, the wound on the back of his head should match the shape of the piggy bank, right? But if it doesn't match the wound, then it can't be the piggy bank. As this guy, I think you were too quick to jump to your conclusions. Oh, was I? Yes, we don't even have the autopsy results yet. How can I not say that you made a snap judgment when you have yet to even see if the wound on Agent Hicks' head is consistent with the murder weapon? See? Scruffy! Yes, sir! Contact the medical examiner's office at once. I wish to hear the results of Agent Hicks' autopsy. Ah! Yes, sir! Oh, good water. We've got a big problem, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! What is it, Detective? They're still doing the autopsy, but they said that they already know this one thing for sure. Report, now! The doc said that it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. From the victim's shoulder to his mid-back, he was beaten over such a wide area? Well, I'd say maybe it's a sign the killer had a grudge against Agent Hicks. It wasn't just his head. The killer went all out and hit him multiple times, sir. Instantaneous death resulting from blow to back of head, bruising head to mid-back. Okay. Scruffy, what is had a grudge against Agent Hicks supposed to mean? Well, that's, was the wound on the victim's head consistent with the murder weapon, Detective? Oh, well, they said they were still looking into that, sir. You're completely useless. Yow! Sir, I told you already, you can't go down there! No, you removed yourself from my way! What is all that racket? This guy again? My luggage, my cargo, they're mine, and I demand you return them to me! We're still investigating the cargo hold. Please understand and have a little patience. I suppose there is no choice. Finally, I think he gave... Hey, what are you? You have left me no choice but to use strong force! Ah! You won't get past me! Oh, God. This is... Wait, that's it! So that's what this whole thing has been about. Further, there is the matter of the key to the display case that held the murderous bank. After all, you know that we searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. He fell from a height. The doc said that it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. He fell from a height. Okay. Okay, the cause of death can't be the piggy bank, so let's match these two together. Allegedly, the killer struck the victim many times over, which is why there is extensive bruising over such a wide area. But is that really the correct conclusion to draw from the evidence? The bruise from his shoulder to the middle of his back is one continuous mark, which is more suggestive of a single blow to the back. If that's the case, then the piggy bank is much too small to have caused that. Therefore, the murder weapon must be something far bigger. A sizable weapon. An unusually large area of bruising suggests that a very large weapon was used. Okay, it's gotta be this. If the weapon is very large, it has to be like a piece of cargo, right? Something that... Okay, what I'm getting right now is that he fell. He fell off of the stairs and landed on something big. If you're looking for a rather large weapon, you'd think it would stick out. But so far, we haven't found anything that resembles a weapon of any sort. Perhaps, just perhaps, there's something we all overlooked from the very beginning, because normally it's too impossibly big to be taken into consideration. What was that all about? Was he trying to jump his way down here? Franziska, what? What do you want? I found it, Franziska. I found the real murder weapon. You did? He really jumped! We didn't realize it until now, but the answer has been right in front of us this whole time. He might be hurt! We should go check up on him, sirs! There's that pompous attitude of yours again. You should learn to drop that habit. It's coming from a prosecutor with a habit of whipping everyone she comes across. Anyway, if you really are a prosecutor, then you'll back yourself up with evidence. You two aren't listening at all, are you? Come on, then. Show me this real murder weapon you speak of. I don't have any evidence to show you. Please don't call me monkey. Please. That is just rude. Foolish reasoning for a foolish fool from a foolishly foolish fool meant to fool me. What do you mean by I don't have any evidence to show? Perhaps I should have phrased it as that which caused Agent Hicks' death is incorporeal. Forgive me, but I do believe I have figured out what was the real cause of death. A free fall. The victim fell from a great height and subsequently died as a result. In other words, the real cause of death is free falling to the ground. He fell to his death? Yes, this is the only plausible possibility. The victim has extensive bruising on the back of his head and his back, and the only rational explanation for these injuries is that he fell to his death. But the murder happened inside this plane! I know. Are you claiming that there is some place in this plane from which he could have fallen from? As I said earlier. Please stop calling me monkey! I don't care if you're being funny! Stop calling me that! As I said earlier, the answer has been right in front of us the entire time. You can't mean! Yes, I do. The victim fell from the top of the stairs of this very cargo hold. What? Then, but we're in trouble! We may have a second death on our hands, sir! Hey you! Tell me you aren't dead, pal! Quiet! Why are you screaming? He's alive! And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. It's not possible that Agent Hicks fell over the railing to his death. That man is living proof of that. I suppose it's true that it's not possible, given the current circumstances. The current circumstances? What is that supposed to mean? Suppose that large piece of cargo wasn't there at the time. What would have happened then? He would have been a Borginian pancake for sure, sir! I suppose that man over there wouldn't still be breathing. The reality is that the cargo box is there, so there is no point in entertaining your wild hypothetical scenarios. It may be there now, but there's no proof that it was always there. Ha! As if there could have been a window of time. I warned you. I told you to stop. I was not kidding. I told you. As if there could have been a window of time when that giant box was not there. Ah, but there was. What? What can I use to show her that it's impossible the box is not always where it is now? Oop, don't do that! I mean, the only time that could have happened is with this, right? The refueling, because they have to stop. Take that! You refueled in the Republic of Shengfa? Yes, his flight had a short layover in Shengfa in order to refuel, but that wasn't the only reason for the layover. We also transferred some cargo. What if the box in question was only transferred onto the plane at that time? To further prove my point, let's take a look at what's next to the box in question. Ah! It's labeled Shengfa Express! correct, meaning it was loaded onto the plane in Shangfa. It was loaded on board during the refueling between 4 and 5 a.m. at the transport point. Now, what if the box in question was also loaded on at the same time? It would mean that the box was not here in the cargo hold during the Europe-Shangfa leg of the flight, making a clear drop from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death entirely possible. But your theory is still very far-fetched. And allow me a chance to prove how very likely my scenario is. My first order of business will be to examine that piece of cargo in more detail. Keeping track of this many pieces of cargo must be very taxing on the cargo crew. It sure brings back memories of when I worked as a part-time mover, sir. By the look in his eyes, he's waiting for me to ask about the rest of the story. No matter how he pours on the puppy eyes, I have no intention of doing so. It said This is a rather large piece of cargo. There's a tag on it, sir. Let's see. A leaf red statue? I've never heard of it. Nor I, but all I care about is if we can prove it wasn't here at the time of the crime. Let's get investigating, sir. Look here, do not go about touching my possessions without my permission. Don't rush up on me like that, pal. So this belongs to Mr. LeBlanc, does it? I should see what else I can find out from him. I take it that this large piece of cargo belongs to you, Mr. LeBlanc. Of course it is mine! I shipped this fine piece of art from Europe! It's a life red statue is worth 10 million cents! No, maybe much more! Mr. LeBlanc's reason for choosing this plane must have been the large cargo hold. 10 million cents? I suggest you stop trying to calculate how many packets of noodles that makes, Detective. Darn! How did you do that? I feel like you keep getting better and better at seeing right through me every year. Though I grow with each revolution of the planet around the sun, I have the distinct impression he continues to madly spin in place. Hey, Mr. Edwards, so that 10 million cents, is that in euros or in dollars? Does it really make a difference to our case? Mr. LeBlanc, there is a chance that your cargo is related to our murder case. I was wondering if you would allow us to examine it a bit closer. It is a very valuable piece of art, so no, there will be no touching! Alright. If it is that valuable, I wonder. If Mr. LeBlanc has something to do with the smuggling ring, then it's possible this fake statue was brought aboard in Shangfa. I think I need to question him a bit further. About your statue, Mr. LeBlanc, I wonder if it might be a fake. What? How dare you say my art is fake? I suspect that your statue might be the target of an international smuggling ring. Don't say such fantastical things! Both these would not dare! Get the certification of my cargo right here! You mean the cargo certification document? Mr. Zinc LeBlanc, why didn't you say so earlier? Please show it to us at once. I can't read this. What does it say? It says as plain as day, the cargo was put onto the plane in Europe. And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. Too bad for you. The statue was brought on board in Europe, just as it states in this certificate. No, that's... Which means that there never was a window of time in which the statue wasn't sitting there. I respectfully disagree. You can't discount the theory until I see the statue for myself. Then you can have your wish. Look at it yourself and see I am right. Yes, I know I've seen this somewhere before. This is the, a leaf red? It gives off such a feeling of art. I can practically smell it. The statue has a high amount of historic value. After it was unveiled at a museum in Europe, I brought it to this country to exhibit it. I believe a closer look is warranted here. So this is the infamous leaf red statue, hmm? What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Did you find something? There's something wrong with this picture. We should examine it in more detail. Wait. This thing has two different eyes. Yeah, this has two different eyes. Hold on. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Not to mention this statue here. This one has yellow eyes, but the picture has red eyes. Wait! Eureka! These eyes are awfully orange, don't you think? Orange, yellow. Yeah, and pretty. They remind me of sunsets when I was in grade school, sir. I don't think you see what I'm talking about. No, I do, but it's really like the color of the sun when it's setting, sir. Ah, the memories. I remember standing out in that field, spinning with my arms out until I felt ill. I don't care about sunsets. Focus, detective. What color are the eyes in this photo? Huh? Ah! Sir, they're red! As I thought, this statue is a fake. Mr. LeBlanc, what do you want? Do you not know I am a busy man? I allow you 2 seconds for your answer. The Leaf Red. I suppose this is your pride and joy, is it not? It's the biggest trophy on this European trip. Do you know why I want to possess this statue? The trigger started 17 years ago. Better grab a chair, sir. Sounds like this is going to be a long story. Mr. LeBlanc, I regret to inform you, and you have my heartfelt sympathy, but... What is that? Sympathy? For what? You'll see. I'd like you to compare the eyes. That large fellow there has very bright and pretty eyes compared to you. I wasn't talking about the two of us. I meant the eyes of the statue in front of us and the one in this photo. Why the sudden yelling? Now then. Oh! It is a photo of the statue on display at the museum in Europe. Ah! Now do you see, Mr. LeBlanc? The statue before us is a fake. A fake?! I believe that even further examination will be required, now that we have confirmed that this is indeed a fake. There must be some sort of proof that this was brought on board in Shangfa, and I will present to you evidence that will resolve the remaining contradiction. Aha! I already see it. This right here proves it. The cloth is underneath the statue, so that means this statue could have only came in after this was here. I'm here, not before. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? This one, right? Yeah, it's this one. Eureka! There's clearly a contradiction here. What are you going on about? It's just a simple case of a cargo cover getting stuck underneath another piece of cargo. Ah! That's not possible! But it is. It shouldn't be this way, but the statue is on top of the cloth. Supposing that the neighboring piece of cargo was brought on board in Shangfa, there's no way that any part of it should wind up under something from Europe, which means that this fake statue was smuggled on board in Shangfa. But then what about the cargo certificate? Let me ask in return, what about Agent Hicks? Why did he come down here in the middle of the flight? There's only one reason why, to secure proof of smuggling activity aboard this flight. So you say, but I don't believe he had to do that mid-flight. We could have just as easily inspected all the cargo after the plane landed. It may be true, however, you have it backwards, Francisca. Sure, Agent Hicks could have waited until after the plane had landed, but he had a reason for coming down to the cargo hold. Suppose he had found the fake at the airport. It would have been after the swap had occurred. At that time, the suspicion would naturally fall onto the statue's owner, who would have no way to prove that the statue was switched without his knowledge, which means there is someone involved who is forging or modifying cargo certificates. Document in Borginian says statue was loaded on board in Europe, a statue is a fake. I guess the victim knew the real version of this was going to get nabbed, huh? Yes, while this photo could be seen as nothing more than a simple souvenir, it was in fact taken to be used as a reference document later on. Next, Agent Hicks had to secure proof that the smuggling had taken place. He came down here to take a picture of the cargo hold, a rather empty one at that, right before the fake statue could be loaded on board. A photo of the hold missing a valuable piece of cargo would have been proof enough. After that, all he had to do was hold the Shangfa cargo crew and arrest the smuggler. Exactly, this only goes to prove my theory. If the statue was not in the cargo hold during the Europe-Shangfa leg of the trip, there would have been enough height from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death. Officer! Move the statue immediately! I want a thorough examination of the floor underneath. Now! This is Karma. I'm ready to report my findings. Go on. After moving the Elif Red statue out of the way, we tested the area under it with luminol, and there was a reaction! I see. There was a reaction to luminol. an indication that there was blood in that spot. Can we stop looking at it now, sirs? It seemed that my deductions were correct after all. I suppose it would appear that way. The culprit cleaned the blood up well. And how do you think the killer did that? How did the killer clean up all the blood? Easy, with a Borginian cloth. That's the only way that makes sense.
Take that!
The killer used the bloody cloth I found inside the suitcase to clean up the mess. I see. They had a need to clean up all the blood before the plane landed in Shangfa. Yes, because otherwise the cargo crew would have discovered it during the layover. So you guys are saying that the murder happened before the plane landed in Shangfa? There's no other conceivable timeline for the events of the murder. But if that is true, then that throws a certain person's testimony into doubt. If the murder occurred before we landed in Shangfa, then this becomes highly suspect. Miss Meal's testimony. Recall Miss Meal's testimony about Agent Hicks in regard to when we departed Shangfa. I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in his seat at 5 a.m., you know. She claims Agent Hicks was alive at the time of the service calls, but that totally contradicts the facts, sir! But why would she lie about something like that? I think the only person who can answer that is Miss Meal herself. Wait. Really? There's another part? I could have sworn, I was thinking they would have ended it by now, but wow, this chapter is actually a lot longer than I thought. Let's see here. How long have we been recording? 33 minutes? You know what? We can play more. March 12th, 3:35 p.m. Flight G390 lower deck cargo hold. Miss Meal. Miss Meal! Huh? Do you recall what you said earlier about when you answered some service calls as we were departing from Shangfa? Huh? You said that Mr. Hicks was sitting in his seat at that time. However, that is simply not possible, because Mr. Hicks was dead long before we ever touched down in Shangfa. Oh? Miss Cammy Meal! Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did. No one could make a mistake so large, Miss Meal. But I make that kind of boo-boo all the time. Ugh. This is going nowhere. There must be a better way of resolving this contradiction. Very well. Miss Meal, if you please, tell me about your alibi during the time span, from just before we were to land at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. when the body was found. Are you telling me I'm a suspect, Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, yeah. From 3 to 4, I was, in the flight attendant's room, all by my lonesome self. Yeah. And from 5 to 6, I was, in the flight attendant's room, all by my lonesome self. So, she's not telling us anything. How is a man supposed to react to a testimony like that? Miss Meal, wake up! Ah! She fell asleep again. It looks like the only way I'm going to be able to wake her up is by pressing her.
Hold it!
So you were alone the entire time, were you? Yeah, no one else even popped their head in to say hi. Oh, well, I think a contradiction just popped in to say hi. What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Yes! Miss Meal, there is a clear contradiction embedded in your testimony. Huh? What are you talking about? It's not possible that you were alone in the attendance room the whole time from 5 to 6 a.m. This one, right here.
Take that!
Because Miss Tenero came in there. I wonder if you would be so kind as to take a look at this receipt, Miss Meal. Huh? A receipt? For what? It's for the suitcase Miss Tenero bought. Now, if I may direct your attention to the timestamp. As you see, it clearly says 5:40 a.m. Miss Tenero! Yes? Huh? Why is the killer here? I thought you'd have her locked up by now. I requested that she be present as a witness, so that we may straighten out your complex lie. Now then, Miss Tenero, between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m., you took a trip from first class down to the first floor in-flight shop, correct? Yes, I went to the shop to buy a suitcase, after which I went straight to the attendance room to drop it off. And did you see Miss Meal there at that time? No, 6 a.m. Miss Cammy Meal! Huh? The bathroom? I'll be the one to ask the questions here. Yeah, maybe that's it. I probably just missed her. Nature calls, you know. You take me for a fool. That's a little too convenient to be true. But it's the truth. Cross my heart. I don't have enough conclusive proof to counter-argue her at this stage. You don't believe me, do you? But please, won't you give me a chance and hear me out? Look, I know you're suspecting me because I'm one of the crew. But you think then maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda, too. She's the one in charge of the elevator keycard in the shop, you know. If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious. Meh! Please leave Mr. Nero out of the conversation. Only you are under suspicion for now. I don't get it. Why are you covering for Miss Rhoda all of a sudden? Oh, now I get it. Maybe you've got your eye on Miss Rhoda. Of course I'm keeping an eye on her. I can't very well let her escape, can I? Never mind. But you want to know something? Miss Rhoda actually kinda like... I have absolutely no interest in people who can't appreciate my sense of design. Now's not the time for this sort of talk. Okay, this one was pretty easy. It's definitely the third one here. Because, again, she's bringing up the elevator key card and the shop. It's like, the key card to the elevator and the key to the shop were both stolen.
Hold it!
And what are you in charge of, Miss Neal? I take care of the attendance room. That doesn't count! Aw, but I spent so much time in there, it might as well be my responsibility. Mr. Edward, Cammy is very talented in languages, so she assists passengers who may not speak English, especially those who speak Bulgarian. She's the only one on this flight who is fluent. Oh, you mean that kind of what am I in charge for? Why didn't you say so in the first place? What else could I have meant? Yeah, so I'm really good at Bulgarian. She's fluent in Bulgarian. I suppose you're in charge of processing documents in Bulgarian. Yeah, I take care of anything that has to do with Bulgarian. Very interesting. If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious. All I'm in charge of are the attendance room and some Bulgarian stuff. Really? So what about this certificate?
Objection!
Were you the one that signed it? So, you're the only one in this flight crew that speaks Bulgarian. Is it raining outside? It sounds like it. No, but it looks like it'll definitely come down any second. It's definitely gotten a lot cloudier. And that's my weather app going off. So definitely going to get some rain. It's definitely super windy outside. Hopefully my power doesn't disconnect while I'm streaming. So I'm going to try and wrap this up as quickly as possible. Is that correct? Oh, yeah, I guess so. I studied abroad in Bulgaria for a while. If that is the case, then the signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? This is a falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose: to lead anyone who read it to believe that Mr. LeBlanc's statue was loaded in Europe. The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Bulgarian is you, Miss Neal. Without your participation, the smuggling of the Aleph Red could not have occurred. Don't sleep while I'm pointing my finger at you! Oh, I wouldn't dream of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, she's changed! It is exactly as you say. Are you confessing to having participated in the smuggling? No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on that document, but you can't use that fact alone to make your allegation of smuggling. It's my signature on a piece of paper. Really, all you did was sign it? I neglected it's going to be one tough fight. Suppose, and this is just a supposition, even if I was involved in the smuggling, you can't throw the charge of murder on me.
Objection!
If you were involved in the smuggling, you would have a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding a smuggling ring, and just when he was about to close in, he's killed by a member of that ring. Well, did you ever stop to think that maybe Rhoda is the smuggling ring member? After all, unlike me, Rhoda has access to many things of this plane for work purposes. So perhaps there is some element of a setup at play in this case. What are you talking about? don't worry, I wasn't talking about you. I meant the killer. First, it was myself, and now it's Miss Gennaro who is under the microscope. Seems to me that our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can. You have no proof that Rhoda is being set up, or that she isn't. Actually, I believe that she was indeed the intended target from the very beginning. I believe that the plan was to push all the blame for the crime onto her. And this evidence will prove my suspicions. This proves that the killer was out to frame Miss Gennaro from the very beginning. It's the suitcase, yeah? Has to be. Because they hid the body in one of those suitcases.
Take that!
The killer could have hidden the body anywhere, and yet they chose the suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body up from the lower deck to the first floor. However, why go through the trouble to do so? Look at that face! The only way all of these actions make sense is if the killer had wanted to frame Miss Gennaro for the murder. Miss Gennaro buys a suitcase on every flight she works without fail. But should her suitcase be switched with the one containing the victim's body, that would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There wasn't enough time to put the body back into the suitcase. Ergo, they made do with whatever was at hand, adapted their plan, and tried to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the turbulence. The killer then went to hide the suitcase in the in-flight shop. They brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a false weapon. And I called it! It's raining! It's raining! A lot of work for a fruitless endeavor, wouldn't you agree? Sounds like the killer had a tough time too, huh? I mean, why did the killer need to frame someone that badly anyway? That is because of the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. What special circumstance dictated the need for the killer to frame someone? I don't think it's I don't think it's when the murder took place or who. I'm personally thinking it's where. Because the murder happened in the cargo hold, and the only person that has the ability to get the murder to actually get into the cargo hold is Rhoda Gennaro. So they had to hide the fact that they were in the cargo hold when the murder happened, because it would only point to either two possible outcomes: either Rhoda did it, or someone stole her key and they did it. And did it. And not to mention, the murder happened on a plane in the air. So there was literally no way to get out of that. So it's got to be where. The special circumstance is simply that the murder took place on a plane mid-flight. No matter which country, customs is quite strict in this day and age. So no matter what you do, the chances that the body will be found is very high. Therefore, there was no chance with the frame either Miss Gennaro or myself. In other words, the only one who fits within the boundaries of the criminal's movements is not Miss Gennaro or myself, but you, Miss Cammy Meal. Only you and you alone could be the killer. And... Are you done already? I was about to fall asleep again. Anyway, let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me other than a whole lot of circumstantial evidence. I can see the outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definitive evidence. And isn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Something that I still can't quite fit into the big picture. I mean, it would have to be his missing cell phone, yeah? That's the only thing that's missing. Missing throughout all this. Where's his cell phone?
Take that!
I don't have any actual evidence. I thought not. But that's because it went missing. And still is. Missing? What do you mean by that? In the complex puzzle that is this case, there was one piece I kept getting stuck on. And that is the victim's cell phone. Franziska, you were waiting at the airport for a phone call from Agent Hicks's cell phone. Or at least that's what you told me. That's right! But Agent Hicks's cell phone could not be found at the crime scene. You mean the killer took the phone with them? Precisely. I suspect that if we were to find that phone, it would lead us to the killer. Ha ha ha. Come on, get serious. If the victim fell to his death from that height, wouldn't his phone break as well? We won't know that until we try a little experiment, will we? Franziska, I'd like to ask for your assistance. You know the victim's phone number, do you not? Of course I do. Agent Hicks's phone! It's ringing from somewhere, sir! I hear it, Detective. Now where is it coming from? Hmm. Oh, it's much louder up here. Wait a minute. March 12th, 4:12 p.m. Flight G390, first floor, flight attendant's room. The ring is coming from somewhere in here, sir. Leave no stone unturned, Detective Cumshoe. We must find it. Wait, isn't that it in the trash can? It doesn't seem to be over here. And let's look somewhere else, sir. The ring is coming from in here, sir. What? No, it can't be. It's got to be the victim's cell phone. But whose locker is this, sir? It's Miss Tenero's. What? March 12th, 4:48 p.m. Flight G390, lower deck, cargo hold. So, Mr. Edgeworth, how did it go? Where did you find the phone? I found it in the flight attendant's room. In Miss Tenero's locker. What? But? Rhoda Tenero! I don't know anything about the phone! It wasn't me! It wasn't me! Miss Von Karma, is it? I suggest you arrest Miss Rhoda Tenero right away. Wait! I have a theory. This is related to the incident with the key card. When the killer went to steal the key card, they conveniently stashed the cell phone in Miss Tenero's locker at the same time. This is related to the key card, alright. In the same way that we have zero proof that the killer did just that. Ugh! The only voice that sings the truth is evidence. That is the one bird we cannot ignore. What should I do? Franziska's right. I can't offer baseless conjectures at this point. Alright then, why did the culprit take the cell phone from Agent Hicks? It must have something very incriminating on, or in it.
Hold it!
What now, Miles Edgeworth? It's not over yet. We have yet to figure out why the killer took the phone. What? Inside this phone lies the final piece of incriminating evidence that will point us to our killer. We need to examine this phone in more detail. The LCD is broken. Without a screen, you can't even place a call with this. Ah! It's a camera lens! Now think of it, I wonder, how exactly was Agent Hicks planning to preserve the crime scene of a smuggling? Franziska, I need you to confirm something. This cell phone, can it take pictures? Mr. Edgeworth, I can't believe you don't know about this kind of basic stuff, sir. This looks like a very similar model to my own. And mine can take photos just fine. Do you think Agent Hicks could have taken some pictures with this? In particular, pictures as evidence for a smuggling case. If so, I say there may be some very inconvenient photos in here for our killer smuggler. But the phone's all busted up, sir. Even a super prosecutor can't repair a broken phone. I'll find a way, don't you worry about that. Oh. May I go back to sleep now?
Objection!
The LCD screens on the inside and outside are broken, that's for sure. But that's also reason enough to believe that the killer wasn't able to erase the data. What? What do you mean by that, Franziska? It looks like our killer isn't very familiar with electronics. This phone still rang when I called it, meaning that only the LCD screens are broken. It's possible that the photos are still there inside, waiting to be accessed. All we need to do is transfer the data to my phone. Franziska, your phone, if you please. Very well. It's transferring. Alright, displaying it now. This is... Agent Hicks was most certainly trying to obtain some evidence for a smuggling case. Hey, the Aleph Red's nowhere in this pic, sir! This has no meaning as a piece of evidence in this murder case, right? Ouch, she's right. There's not much we can find out from this about Agent Hicks's killer, sir. Is this it? Is this the end? Is there really nothing in this photo that we could use? Maybe this? Boxes of bedsheets. They're still in the cargo hold, though. There's nothing unusual about them in particular, but I can't shake the feeling. You're just playing around. Mind if I go home? Yes, I mind! What exactly is different between then and now? What's all this? Hmm? Oh, they are cargo shipped from Burgundy to Zhengfa. So the reason they aren't here now is that they were dropped off in Zhengfa. Mr. LeBlanc, can you tell me the contents of the boxes? Unfortunately, there is no English written on them anywhere. One cluster of boxes is written in Burgundian. It says, unknown. It is cloth in English. Cloth? Could it be? Is this where the killer? What? What is that scary face? Miss Meal. Yes? It appears that Agent Hicks was no ordinary investigator. He left us with a piece of evidence after all. A striking piece that will point out who his killer is! Ha! Maybe you shouldn't force your mistaken reading on a simple picture, Mr. Edgeworth. The forgetting cargo in this piece of evidence will point us straight to the killer. This cloth, right? And what is that supposed to prove? The killer used this piece of cloth to wipe up the blood they had spilled. But there was one thing that bothered me this whole time. Where did it come from? And now I have finally found my answer, this very photo. The cargo that was unloaded in Zhengfa had cloth written on it. In Burgundian, that is. And this is where the killer grabbed the piece from to clean up the blood with. That's right. The killer was someone who could read and understand Burgundian. And the only crew member that fits that description is you, Miss Cammy Meal. Ha! That's pretty flimsy. The killer probably searched through all the boxes looking for something to use. When you're frantic, you don't care if the box is in English or Burgundian. Sorry, but I cannot agree with your assessment of the killer's indiscriminate nature. What? There was no need for the killer to tear through boxes at random at all. And if the killer was supposedly could not comprehend Burgundian, well then, logically the killer would have opened this box first. The bed sheets!
Take that!
Hey! It says bed sheets in English right on the box, sir! Precisely. And bed sheets would be perfect for cleaning up blood, would you say? So what are you trying to say? That if I were the criminal, this box of bed sheets would have been what I would have spotted first. However, the killer chose to use some Burgundian cloth. Do you have an explanation for that? The killer didn't want anyone to know that the real scene of the crime was this cargo hold, so they were afraid to leave signs that the box where the sheets had been opened. However, the Burgundian cloth, well, that's a horse of a different color, because the killer knew it was going to be unloaded in the Republic of Zhengfa? That's right. That is why the Burgundian cloth was used. And the only Burgundian reader on board who could make such a calculated decision is you, Cammy Meal. You and you alone! Ugh! It will be very easy for us to confirm if any of the boxes were resealed. All we have to do is contact the Zhengfa authorities in time. We may even find other evidence to incriminate our killer within those boxes. Ugh! So what do you say, Miss Meal? Why not confess to your crime here and now? Or would you rather wait and see what we find out from our investigation in Zhengfa? No! He was Interpol. I couldn't stop it. I brought him here. He started taking pictures. I couldn't be found out. I was scared. I was in trouble. March 12th, 5:26 p.m., Flight G390, First Floor Lounge. We finished making all the arrangements to take to the suspect in, sir. Very good, Detective. What about the smuggling route? Did she say anything about that? They're taking her down to the precinct now. Hopefully we can get more out of her there. Whenever we even approached the topic, she just started foaming at the mouth. It was scary, sir. She probably wasn't prepared to commit a murder all of a sudden. One thing is for sure, the ring behind this whole mess means serious business. It looks like there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye. Mr. Edgeworth! I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everything you did. Thank you very much. It was nothing. In fact, I should be the one thanking you for your cooperation. But truly, if it wasn't for you, I might not be here right now. Instead, I could continue to serve our passengers as a flight attendant. I hope that, well, please accept this as a token of my appreciation. That's... I see. You don't have to take it if you don't want it. No, I mean, I would never turn down a lady's generous offer. Oh, thank you. I'm sure it will serve you well. Remember, we here at Go-U Airlines are always ready to serve, Mr. Edgeworth. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. Now I must bid you farewell. May all your skies be blue, no matter where you go. I can't believe we wound up investigating the whole day, sir, but boy, was it fun! Speak for yourself, my day was filled with earthquakes, elevators, and false charges. By the way, where's Franziska? Oh, she's filling out some customs paperwork for her departure. Departure? Yeah, Miss Von Karma's always really busy, sir. She's been flying from country to country to chase down some leads regarding her case. Detective, did you cancel the car I had you reserved earlier? You got it, sir! March 12th, 5:47 p.m., Hope Springs Airport. Franziska. I thought I told you when you first landed. I have no time for idle chatter. I have no intention of wasting your time. However, it has been a while since we last met. I also have no time for such familiar reminiscence. Just who do you think I am? You are Franziska von Karma, a very proud prosecutor deserving of much respect. Until only a little while ago, I was but a wretched mutt who was always losing to you. A dancing hero, living her life on the name and fame her invisible father built. True, your father, Manfred von Karma, didn't lose a single case for 40 years as a prosecutor. However, I wouldn't say he was invincible. What are you talking about? The group I'm on the trail of is a little more troublesome than most. The smuggling route we found this time is only one sliver of the big picture. Sounds like a dangerous assignment. You really don't have to worry. I can take care of myself. Yes, I suppose you can. Plus, there's another agent on this case with me. Oh, another agent? He's a star among Interpol agents and has the highest successful arrest rate. Who knows, you may even run into him one day. I was simply caught up in this one case. I hardly see why we would cross paths. I suppose, but I doubt he would say the same. I'm not following you. You'll understand soon enough. The fight has only just begun, Miles Edgeworth. I'll be back in this country soon enough, and when I am, you can be sure I'll pay you back in full. Just like that, she's gone, huh, sir? Thank goodness! I can finally rest easy knowing I won't have to watch out for her whip. Mr. Gumshoe, I want to thank you for all your help and cooperation. Oh, it was nothing, sir. I was just happy to be able to work with you again. I think I'm going to celebrate by adding a little extra salt to my instant noodles tonight. Just how much did you cut his salary by, Franziska? Detective, I was wondering if you might give me a ride down to the prosecutor's office. Sure thing, sir. I'll even fly down the road in a patrol car if you want. Don't make me remind you, Detective. Safety first. Thus, I solved the first case upon my arrival home. Franziska von Karma, the smuggling route she was after, the leaders of that ring had already put their trump card into play, and the players on the other side of this war, they would begin to make themselves known through the next incident. Edgeworth speaking. Finally. I called who knows how many times earlier, but I couldn't get through. And you are? Have you forgotten my voice, Miles, my boy? Mr. Amano? Ernest Amano, correct? So you do remember me. I know it's rather sudden, but I can't ask this of anyone else. There's been an incident, Miles. My son, he's been kidnapped. And with that, that brings Chapter 2 to a close. So, in tomorrow's live stream, we shall be starting Episode 3, The Kidnapped Turnabout. So, thank you all for watching, and as always, your host, TheAmariaShadow, saying along Z, and I'll see you for the next adventure. Goodbye, everyone!